Yes, we are recording. Okay, so it is June 21st. Solstice. Happy solstice. I'm Mary, and you can't see Miss Cappy. Miss Cappy's here as well. This is our third Q&A session, and we do not actually have a specific theme for tonight. So having said that, I'm going to plug in my mic. And here we go. All right.
So you have a theme. Just know what.
Well, okay, okay. Yeah, so this is your first time here, but this is sorry. This is our third week doing this. And so Kathy and I were chatting earlier today and basically wanting to know, because we've had a couple of these, because Kathy's like, well, what is the end result of this? And I said, well, let's find out. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people have been coming in, a lot of people have been asking a lot of questions, and not, without us knowing really where you want to be headed, we can be a GPS.
Where you are.
Yeah, but if you want to get from here to here, we can help you do that. We just don't know where yeah. Yes, yeah. So no pressure. Hi, first timer.
So think of this as the margarita class. You still have the margarita. Sorry. We have young ladies watching.
And speaking, like, if you do want a class, I'm very sorry. I can come up with a class.
Give her a reason.
Yeah, because Kathy and I were talking, and she's like, well, this is your class. I'm like, I don't see this as a class. And right now we're discussing, because if we had a class, I would be like, okay, well, this is going to be your end result, and this is how many weeks we're going to meet to get there.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because that's just how my brain works.
Yeah.
Okay. So hopefully by now you guys have a better idea as to what you're looking for, what your end result is.
You talk. I talk all the time. I think my end result, my end game is to just really tap more into my power and figuring out how to channel that stuff like that. I want to know more. I want to get. I would like to eventually get to that priestess spot.
Okay.
And channel that more. I feel like that's in me. And it's funny because my cousin, I don't think she's going to be on the Zoom, but she's going to watch later.
Right now, bless you, I don't think anybody has joined, but we start at 7:15, which is a goofy time. People might be joining at 7:30, and so I have it set up that people can join at that time, for that reason. Yeah, sorry.
So we were just discussing our family, and we know that there is a powerful lineage in there somewhere, and based on speaking to my aunts and stuff like that, it comes from my grandfather's. So it'd be my paternal grandfather's side. But we also know that there's this darkness that's been over our lineage, and that we feel like her and I and our generation of cousins starting to break apart. And we've realized that of my generation, there are 4 firstborn daughters to males, and of 3 of us all feel an ability to. She's talks to animals. I'm the plant, I do the plant stuff. And then my cousin Amanda is healer, she's becoming a Reiki master and stuff like that. And we have one other cousin that we don't know. So we wanted to tap into that. I'd like to know more about is there something that follows firstborn daughters, things like that. So just kind of things. That's my end game. I'd like I said, I'd like to get to that whole the priestess side of it. And, really understand it and continue to practice it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm right on the coattails of it. Real close. Almost like a piggyback. So I'll piggyback. Yeah. I don't know if I actually have the calling for priestess or anything, but I would love a community. I just know, I've said it kind of all along, I've always felt a calling here into a more spiritual world and not necessarily a religious world.
So-
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
It is, because I don't believe that God is put into a box. God puts us in a box. I don't believe that.
Mhm.
So I've always felt a calling, just as much as
Mhm.
I felt a calling to become a hairstylist. I felt a calling to gather the, energy from the plants and from the water and from just everything around me needs thanks and it needs to be filled with gratitude, as much as I do. So I just want that community.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I will say, because I can share my story. I won't like name names, but so I did go through priesthood training. And it took me a while to find the right spot because there was a coven, local coven, and Kathy can tell her own story. No, you can tell your own story. It was not the happiest experience. I went to the first meeting and the priest who very powerful, and went through we can trace his lineage back and all that. But what he said, I will teach you how to control elementals. And I knew that as soon as those words uttered from his mouth, that this was not the right place for me, because you can ask politely, but you don't command. You don't command. It's not okay to command something else or
Right.
someone else. You know what I mean? Like,
You didn't even give you the option. Would you like to?
Shouldn't we have learned from our human history that if it's not okay to command other humans, you should. No, you know what I'm
Shouldn't
saying?
be commanding people who could fit in and out of your living room without being seen.
So I was like, okay, this is not becoming for me, which was, and there are other people that had the same, took umbrage with what he said, but they wanted their degrees and they did it anyway. And there were some other things too. I won't go into a lot of detail, but I knew like, okay, that's it. I'm not doing this one. So I found, and this was years ago. This was before like everything was online. So I did find an online coven out of Chicago, and I went through all the training and submitted my work. And during that time, it changed ownership. And the person that now owned it was like, well, I sent you an email a while ago and you didn't respond to it, so I kicked you out. And I had already paid my money. I had paid, and it wasn't the fact that it wasn't like the amount of money, but I paid for my class. Even though these are things I knew, I paid for my class because I'm like, okay, I want to go through the proper training and so I can help other people. And then I just threw up my hands and said, universe, if you want me to go through this training because I feel like I'm being called to do this, you're going to have to help me figure out where it is, because this is not working. And then I found the Fellowship of Isis. And I can't even tell you how I found the Fellowship of Isis. It was founded in the 1970s to counterbalance like all the patriarchy from eons. And so it's the Isis is the goddess of 10,000 names. So she's basically like every goddess in one. And so I did go through my priesthood training through them. And I'm actually glad I did, because it's very different than like your coven training. So I'm glad it happened. It was a pain in the butt to get there. But I think it was better in the end, because my coven training would be like, or any, like, I shouldn't say any, but coven training would be like very narrow, where this was more, I don't want to say like big, but more broad and covered. I felt like it covered more material.
This is when you were going for your, not your coven, for your.
Well, I am an ordained priestess.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm an ordained minister. So
Okay.
if somebody needs to get married, I can do that.
Awesome.
I'm ordained priestess.
Okay.
So through the Fellowship of Isis. And it's not like you have to have that, you know what I mean, to do a wedding, but it gives comfort to the people if they do want you for a particular service, to know that you're not just
Online.
I am married.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah, so at least you know this person that actually is yeah. So and priesthood might not be for you today.
Yeah.
It could be be for you down the
Well, see, and
road.
I'm learning
so,
all this, so you're right, I would rather, whatever, because I'm learning things, so when I speak of this, I'm speaking very vaguely. I would like something like that, more encompassing, so yeah, I guess I didn't know there was a difference between coven and,
There is.
okay,
A coven is a group. It is a dedicated group. And I
and
personally
it can be
don't
good,
like,
don't get me wrong.
yeah, there are good things in it, but I don't like exclusionists. So that's why you have to say you want to join, you ask them, are you an eclectic coven? Or are you an all encompassing coven? Because just like I quit mystery schools, I do not believe in secrets. Okay, there's shit about me I won't tell you. That's just because I don't
Right.
want to have to watch people like this. But I don't want anything. Why would I switch the name of the religion I'm from? That's what it would be. If it says you gotta be this and you gotta do this to be with us, then that kicked me out of the church.
right, I just want
You
to be
gotta
a good
believe-
person.
I want to be a good person. I wanted to stop hating my own sex. And when I say hating, I didn't hate them. I just kind of disdain them. I'd rather go 12 miles out of my way than walk with a crowd of females. Because my head would be guaranteed to ache at the end. This can't be all there is to having a vagina.
Oh, I
But
feel that on so many
discovering
levels.
the beauty of a real sisterhood, the sisters, it's not about quantity.
Right.
It's about quality.
Yeah.
It's about, oh my God, they're so good.
Yeah.
I want to hang out with them. I want to hang out with
Right,
them.
you only look forward to, like, I look
Yeah.
forward to coming
Yeah, I want to see them. I want to talk to them. I can talk to them and we can agree to disagree without, oh my God, well, she's going to go talk to Becky, then Becky's not going to talk to me, and then Becky's going to talk to Susan, and Susan's not going to talk to Sheila. And, because that's just my experience. And I can't keep up with who I'm talking to this week. Am I mad with you? Are we still friends? Okay.
Yeah.
It's just because patriarchy has really done a number on us. We do such cruel things to each other. We talk about each other worse than anything. Because, well, I'm not a girl like that. You don't know why she's a girl like that. You know what's going on with her. And when I was younger, it was just that, oh God, I cannot hear one more thing about hair. But I went into Ultra Beauty the other day, and that white lady was so scared of me. I go, I love you. I said, I was so ticked off at paying $150 for hair products. But you know what? I did my hair, which it takes my day off. It takes me 2 hours to do my hair. I did my hair in 30 minutes. Everything that Curl Smith said it would do, it did. I did not have a half a wig in the drain from slippage that still I had to tear through with a comb. I did Curl Smith.
Okay.
And the shampoo is $28. The little tube of slippage gel is $27, but it's worth it.
Okay.
It's worth it. I was laughing and crying in my shower.
Kathy, you crack me up.
Hey, black is not
It is beautiful, so I'll get you that.
but it was just, and she was thanking me, and she gave me a hug because now she can explain exactly what it does, because the pictures there don't go to 4C hair. It says curly girl, and all you got is the lighter girls and the curls that make ringlets.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
ringlets.
Okay.
But I usually by this time it's gotten dry and I've had to finish it. And this is just from one, and it's still moist. I have to save up and sell the kitchen sink.
Very good.
But when you find that sense of sisterhood, you know, it's just the most magnificent thing. And I think it so far surpasses coven. When we think of coven, of course, we're thinking of, all huddled in our hood, stuff like that. But we get and discuss politics. We get and do a circle of prayers. I'm the last person to want to save Jersey, but when that that hurricane was going to hit, we did a circle to make it go around. It is about finding the power of being sisters rather than finding the things that makes us different.
I like that too.
Mhm.
And that's what the priestesshood was. It wasn't about, oh, I got more power than you.
Mhm.
Krista is a hell of a weather witch. If I need something done with weather, I call my sister Krista because she's gotten us through blizzards. She's cleared the way when we had to go downstate where nobody in their right mind would go. I'm not a weather witch. I look at the weather, and it looks at me. It is about the beauty of all of us bringing our own gifts to the circle. To me, that's what coven should stand
Yeah,
for.
that's what it should
But
be.
that's not what I met when I finally, because all of my sisters, we were all solitary when we met when I first came here. We were all just solitary practitioners. We did things together, there was no formal thing. We had no name. We just did things together. But the power of us coming together with the goal of making one thing better, with the goal of doing the healing, with the goal of calming a storm is the most beautiful feeling you're ever going to feel. That's power. Not even I can do it. That's it. Someone is safe tonight. And that for me, witchhood, the reason that witches were born is because witches would go places that other people wouldn't. They didn't need to because they had us. But the moment someone said we were bad, they turned on us. And for a lot of years, we were pretty pissed off. You go on your own spiritual journey. Dude. Sorry, I got a date with Mad Max. But to me, that's what witch meant. Witch could go into the unknown. Witch could go and look for everything, not just one thing, not just over here, but everything, and put something together that would work.
That's exactly how it is. That's what I want. Like, I want to know that like to tap into, others' amazing energy to like help create something like that or stop.
Yep, here's my circle. I've got this business and I want good energy sent to it. Not making anybody come to your business, but surrounding your business with good energy. For what I do, I don't pray that somebody has a bad day that needs a reading so that I can pay my rent. I give thanks every day that anyone in need of my services has the money and the time. Those two are important to see me. And it always works out. So if I come in here one day and don't do anything, I just go home, have my Haagen-Dazs and watch my Jewish come back next day and I wish nobody would come in because I just want to get a sandwich,
Right.
I need to go take a walk to walk on the ice cream.
I need to go to the bathroom. It just works out the way it works out. Every healer and leader that I've met works on that, works on masseuses, everything. The energy that they send out is here is love, here is peace, here is a place where you can be safe, and people come to that. I don't ever want what I do to be a job.
That's
So,
how I feel about
that's for me.
We're kind of leaving it out. What kind of questions do you have, my dear?
Lots.
Okay.
Well, I know absolutely zero.
Okay.
I
But
would say-
something brought you here today other than like, hey, come with us.
We've been talking a lot about it.
Well, so my mom was very much involved in the church. She still is. I believe in that. I occasionally go to church, but I've listened to these two for a minute, and I don't know. It just sounds really interesting. I don't know if you say it was drawn because I was like, oh, I'm really sitting on my ass. But I was like, I don't know. I don't really have. I really don't have a specific question or a specific place that I don't know any. Like I am at ground zero.
That's okay.
So
That's okay.
you guys are talking about this stuff. I'm like, I don't know. So I might feel like, because I almost feel like a little bit closed because it's something that's completely new.
Your mother starts throwing it.
And you know this how?
It's gone. Seeing lots of other ones.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's not, I don't,
No,
but
it's the same as what we're talking about here. There are Christians that I would go the 10,000 miles for. I would throw myself on a
100%.
burning fire for. There are Christians that I would race across the street and, wear body armor if I saw them coming.
well, yeah, well, because Christianity
everybody-
is so
Non-Christianity, it's like everything. It's practitioner. Just like we're saying, we claim the word witch because it's been so destroyed. I personally don't do any ceremony. I have done them before. When I started, it was wonderful coming together with my friends. I remember the first night I walked into Krista's house and it was nearly blinded because I'd never seen so many white butts in my whole entire life. Nobody told me that this was going to be nudity involved, and I had never until I moved.
No, don't worry. You don't have to
No,
make it.
no.
No,
I got a lot of white ass.
The word witch encompasses. I believe this means we're a healer with what you do. She works with herbs. That's what I believe for her. I want it reclaimed. I want it reclaimed. Yeah, well, Southern nation, okay? You work with herbs.
She's making fun of the word herb because other parts of my business.
Yeah, understood.
Oh, okay.
So when we say witch, no, we're not asking you to join a coven. What we are here is trying to show you the different aspects of it. There's a created deep thought religion, which is called Wicca, and it's a religion. It's a study, and you do certain steps. But there's hedge witches and eclectic witches and traditional witches. When I say traditional witches, I mean you gotta have an athabay that looks just like this, and you gotta have a robe that's has 3 degrees of wool or something in it. Because I studied tradition when I went over in England. I was a perpetual student. I want to know everything. I want to know everything that makes sense. I have never wished to study Satanism because it makes no sense.
Right, that makes sense.
I'd be the perpetual student. That's why I have so many books. That's why I know so much about everything and nothing, because I want to know. I want to know where it came from. But everything in my heart says that we women are not a piece of meat, and we're not our vagina. That's just a good sideline of being a
Would you
female.
maybe send that into the universe too?
Yes, I have. See, you're not going to get till we start feeding ourselves like that.
Right.
So
Well, I did today.
Mhm.
I shut that down real quick.
It's about if you treat yourself like a bag of dollar burritos, don't expect somebody to treat you like a steak.
This is the $10 burrito.
Honey, this is a chimichurri.
Yeah.
We're talking grade A Tokyo, $28 a coat. I told my grandmother I was going to be hooker. She said, well, he doesn't get to pull your hand for less than $15,000. So when we get to the good stuff, you better get out a calculator. And that's just the way it is. You must value yourself. And I don't mean in the Kardashian way. I mean in valuing you just as you are right here in this very moment. This is who I am. And if you like it, that's fine. But if you don't, keep yourself.
Well, that's huge. Because that's where I'm at. I don't really give a shit what people think. So you either like me, you don't, whatever. So I don't know where that came from, but
Because you needed to say it. You needed to say it.
I need to say a lot of things.
I wouldn't actually want to be a hooker because I don't. I'm not in the mood. I don't care what you do. But I do also feel really bad to hear another woman disdain a woman who is doing that. First of all, she's doing something you won't do, so that keeps you out of the doghouse. And plus, you don't know why, because I cannot see, except for back in the olden days when the priesthood was a sacred prostitute, and they loved everybody. And it was held sacred. And when their time of service was over, men flocked to be able to marry a sacred prostitute. Then some bearded guy came in and said, no, she's the son. And we have been echoing it ever since. We don't know why our sister is doing this. So do we need to heap more bullshit on her, or do we, if she asks, show her ways to make it better?
Right. I fully
But
believe that, absolutely.
we should not, we should be the last ones calling other females names. Because when you do that, you're talking about yourself.
They need to do some of that energy in high schools.
Yeah,
Mhm.
those girls are vicious.
Yes, they are.
Mhm.
So we know where the cosmic bitch came from. She was born in high school. Lord Jesus, and that will tell you when you get frustrated, if they don't get what they want. But those are young, those are maidens, and we're expected to go through a maiden phase. But you're also expected to learn from it. You are not supposed to be acting like a goofy 16-year-old when you're 40.
Right. Only when you're with your friends.
Yeah, when it's margarita time. No. Do you do vicious stuff just to be vicious?
Oh, no.
Then that's what I meant about 16, bro.
Yeah.
I did not mean
No.
about having the joy of life and still wanting to get on a roller coaster ride. And
No.
no.
Haley will get on the ride.
Yeah, she will.
But that,
deal
that viciousness that we seem to naturally show each other, no, that's a 16. That's what I mean by 16.
I've got 2 daughters, so my oldest
Sometimes
is
you want to
16.
get out. You want to get out the holy God. Who
My
are you?
youngest. My youngest. Flash it on her.
I was sending all the energy from my spirit candle that I finished
Mhm.
to my a whole lot of light, love, and all of it. Big
But
angel
you
hugs.
also gotta also hold it for it, that she will. First of all, here's the biggest, hardest concept of being with. Everybody is okay.
She is.
exactly
She is
where
gonna
they
be
are.
okay. And she's a sweet person. She's just lost.
Hold that for a boot. So, but what are you doing as her mother? Now, I know they cut the umbilical cord when you were born, but honey, that cord is still there. So if your daughter feels like she's and you feel like it for her, that's too much for an 11-year-old to handle. You hold. You can't always do it with words, because sometimes when they're in that phase, you can't talk to them. They can't hear you over the
Yeah.
snarling.
Saying,
What I'm
going out.
saying is that
Yeah.
even when she's doing that, don't go through holding that that's all that she is. I know it looks like it. It's hard. I've been through this. I have 2.
Yeah.
They're 38 and 36 now. I have 2. And there are times when you want and everything's just land. But that's when you gotta listen to this in here to know whether or not she's capable. One time I was talking, my son was cussing me out. And I wanted to land old black woman on him. You know, I didn't even raise my voice to my mother, let alone put cuss words in
Yeah.
there. But my guys kept saying, "Listen, look at him, look at him, look at him." And finally, I just looked at him. His aura was so red. He could not have heard a single thing I was saying right there. He was so mad. His little soul was all twisted up. And they said, hug him, whereas I wanted to choke him. But they said,
Yeah.
and I
They
did.
said it's still illegal.
And he practically beat me with his feet and his arms. I mean, my back was black and blue, but I held him until he started crying.
And they were mad at that. This
So
one
there
is
are times
so
when you
close, I
can't
just don't
speak.
know.
So the Rainbow Bridge, sweetie, you send out the
All those
colors
colors,
of the
yes.
rainbow and
Yes.
meet her soul on the bridge.
That's right. I remember us talking about that.
There you can tell her everything, how most of your yelling is from what you fear will hurt her. You can, and you will find that as you do that, you'll be able to actually talk to her in this world, because she won't understand it, or the person you're working with on the Rainbow Bridge won't understand it, but it'll just be a shift, because right now you're meeting